All right, guys, welcome back to another edition of the podcast. Ricky, you named it All Things Racing. Is that what you're?
No, that's just kind of our taglines.
Yeah, at the beginning.
All right. Yeah,
We're still 10 Soldier Tuesday.
Yeah. So this is one we probably really need to do for a while. I got Heath with me, which you see Heath a lot, especially, well, not recently while we've been racing. We'll get to that.
Typically, though.
Yeah, typically you see Heath. We'll probably get into our backstory a little bit, but I think just to catch your attention, it really, Brad and I probably wouldn't be racing. I shouldn't say probably. We wouldn't be racing at the level that we race without Heath. I
don't know. I don't know about that.
Well, you gave us when we had, and I tell people this any chance I get to tell them, and I want you guys to hear this. We raced with you when we had not a lot to give. That's fair, right? Yeah,
I guess
yeah,
I can't disagree with that.
Yeah, we had
you had plenty. You had plenty to give. I seen that you had plenty to give, but like
the average person,
physically, financially, maybe not.
Yeah, financially, we was way off of the thing. So a quick thing is Heath was one of our first customers. Back then, we were in our little, long, terrible shop.
Storage
unit, our storage unit. Yeah, it was like Harry Potter in the storage closet. Heath called, wanted, and he's gonna be sad that I say this, but he did want a turbo kit.
I did. I did.
And you were probably maybe like our third customer.
It was pretty early on. Yeah. I remember wanting it done, and it. In that case, like if you take your car to somebody, a nice car, and somebody can get on it right away, that's a problem.
Yeah.
It's like a mechanic or a body shop or something. If you can take to them and they're like, hey, I can start on it today, then I don't know. That's, there should be some backlog. And I remember, like, I talked to Brad the first few times. Like, you were still working at the time. Remember, at that factory?
Yeah.
And, But yeah, I did. I wanted a turbo kit. I do. I kind of want a turbo kit again. Yeah, the time has come.
Yeah. So Heath wanted a turbo kit. He come in. I'll never forget this. We were working on something, and that shop was so terrible. Like it was like
it was fine.
It was really inconvenient to get to.
No, that was
But he came up and just to see us, and we had Jack Vanover's car on the jig. We were working on a street car, actually putting an exhaust on, and then you're always like so full of energy. So you like came in like it was like a whirlwind just happened, and you like looked everything over real quick, and you're like, "Hey, here's a check. Order this. How much money you want?" I'm like, "I don't know," and you're like, "How about $2,500?" I was like, "Okay," and you
probably went something like that.
Yeah, you cut a check like super fast. You're like, "I gotta go, boys. Here's your money. I'll see you in a couple weeks."
That sounds that's probably about right. Yeah. I remember looking at it and stuff, and it was inconvenient where it was down that hill or whatever, but
yeah,
it was fine.
Yeah. Then we went. Then a couple weeks later, Turkey Bash was happening, and you were racing your 69, which so Heath 69 had, when we first started racing Charlie, it had the smaller, the 598 that came out of your 69.
Correct.
And it was nitrous and everything then.
Yep.
So, and then right after Turkey Bash, we went down and hung out with you at Turkey Bash. You fed us hot dogs.
Some were in the pocket, in our pockets. Yeah.
And then a couple weeks later, we brought the car up and we did the turbo kit for you.
Yeah.
So, and that worked out really good.
It did. Like it was I don't know. I mean, I won't say like I wasn't that into social media then. Not that I'm hugely into it now, but I was barely into it then. I remember that car got recognized. Dragzine picked that thing up, and then the job they did was phenomenal. Though it was beautiful. But that kind of picked that up, and then it kind of opened my eyes to because the views were like crazy. I remember you told me how many people had looked at that thing on Dragzine, and it was like, holy moly.
Yeah.
How did that ever happen? So, an older person like myself, you know what I mean? It opens your eyes to, this is different. This is a different situation that you probably should invest some time in. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was awesome though. It was beautiful. Got it running. It was an old, pretty, iron block, aluminum Big Chief head deal.
Yeah, I forgot it was iron block.
It was iron block then. Yeah, it was pretty early on. And the Camaro was okay car, you know what I mean? But it was basically just an old super gas bike half deal.
It was ladder bar. And
Yep, ladder bar, mild steel, 12 bolt, drum brake rear. Yeah. And
you would have been really fast with it then. I mean, at the time.
Yeah, it would have. And then you guys did that. And remember, I took it back and I did like all the boost reference stuff and hooked everything up and drove it down the road, drove it on the street there for a bit. Not very long, but a few miles. And I was like, holy crap, I put just a real small gate in that thing where it would, I don't remember what it was at the time, but a real small, and just let it manually open the gate and was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Then I talked to a few more people about it because it was kind of hush hush.
Yeah. You converted. We never really posted many pictures of converting it until it was done. Yeah.
And then a few people seen it that knew the car and they was like, hey, you've kind of overstepped your car a bit with this. What the power that probably what that thing would have made.
Yeah.
And so then I brought it back.
Yeah. So then Heath brought it back, and we decided at that point we kind of decided to partner up and race because it was just you and Shauna racing.
Yep.
Which if you race at this level and you only have two people, like it's a lot, man.
We did it for a long time that way through quite a few cars, but it got tough. You know what I mean? And you guys wanted to,
Yeah, we wanted to race.
You wanted to race.
We didn't have the money to race, So Heath brought the Camaro up. I was going to drive the Camaro, but then we decided, like, let's just build a chassis for it because it was...
It kept snowballing. I think I brought it back to y'all. Y'all just moved into the other shop.
Yeah.
The first end. The other end of that shop. And remember, I think you guys were going to do, like, brakes and... put a funny car cage in it. And we was going to do some different coilovers and stuff on the front. And every time I talked to y'all, like every couple of weeks or whatever, it was just like, man, why don't we do this or why don't we do that? And I was like, go ahead with all of it. It all sounded like it needed to be done. And then it just snowballed into, hey, this thing just needs to be cut apart and made nice. You know what I mean? There's no reason not to.
Yeah. So then we were like, well, then we were bored because like, we didn't have a race car, but Heath always typically has two cars. Like,
typically, yeah.
Right now, you got three right now. Three race, well, kind of.
I guess, yeah, sort of. Yeah. I've always usually got projects going on that are pretty close to being finished or could be
relatively quickly.
Finished pretty quickly. Yeah.
So he had a Chevy Love truck that would like. I'll venture to say like the nicest Chevy Love truck on the planet. I mean,
it was nice, man.
It was really nice.
That's a tall order because I know there's some really nice Chevy Loves, but it was pretty nice, man. I would say you're probably, it would stand with the best of them. Yeah.
It was such a cool piece. It was it was purple. It was actually more of a street rod. It had a blown, was it 383?
383, 377, something like that. Just a standard stroker, small block Chevrolet.
With like chrome blower and carburetors.
Yeah. It was pretty. Lenco, yeah. It was fun to drive. It's too small inside, but it was like cool.
And all the tin work, like the guy that did the tin work, he was
spot on.
I mean, it was nice, man.
Yeah.
Like nice.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, let's just race this Love truck. So he brought the Love up. We put a power glide in it. We redid the exhaust where it had bull horns. Put an anti-roll bar in it and like put slicks on it. And
put 2 kits of nitrous on it.
On the blower motor. Yeah, which we didn't know how that was going to work. So yeah, it was just like Frankenstein-y looking thing. And like, man, I had never really driven anything fast at that point. Like I had my own car that I went like 10s with like a couple times, but like, like I had never really driven a race car, which that probably surprises you guys. But like, I've actually only really been driving for 6 years, something like that.
I guess that. So whatever that was.
Yep.
It's probably been a bit. Yeah, probably 6 or 7 years. 8.
Yeah.
8 at best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, they put me in this thing, and it's like you sit in it like this, and that's no exaggeration.
That's no exaggeration.
It's like it was horrible, and like. it had like a wheel. The steering wheel was cut off at the bottom so that you could even
have that much space.
Yeah, it was horrible. So like I have zero experience. I wouldn't say zero. Well, yeah, probably zero experience.
But you've been around it your whole life.
I mean, I was fine.
So it was, yeah.
And like
he came down to the house because they got all the anti-roll in and transmission in. I had a converter for it, blah, blah, blah. But then I loaded it with these 2 kits of nitrous on this blower that I'm a nitrous guy, not a blower guy. But I'm like, we're going to put 2 kits of nitrous on it because I know this thing. I had driven it and it's a dog like it is. So we're going to have to wake it up. And Jason and Brad come down and I'm like, man, you probably should just come down and just drive it.
Yeah.
Just so you can like familiarize yourself with the way it feels and stuff, you know? And that's what we did.
Yeah. We took it down the street. Yeah.
We can street drive it anywhere. Yeah. And then Jason's like, this thing's a pig. And I'm like, yeah, just wait. We'll wake it up. Yeah. And we raced like the following weekend or whatever.
Yeah, we went to Clay City and we went down there. We had no idea what was going to do. And like I said, dude, I hadn't been fast. So, I did burnout and everything. I don't know, man. I've always like stuff really doesn't bother me. So I'm like, all right, whatever's going to happen.
Right. You tell him to like jump off a bridge. He would probably jump off the bridge. Yeah.
So it went like a 123, 60 foot.
Oh, it would boogie. It boogied until it didn't.
Yeah. And then, the crank only had like a cheap keyway in it.
Single. It was just a single keyway, just standard stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't meant to do that. So basically at like 300 foot, the crank like no longer was cranking the outside.
The speed of the nitrous, I think just it overspun, the belt wouldn't keep up with the nitrous when it shocked it. So it would just shear that keyway off. And hey, we replaced that keyway at the racetrack a couple of times before we finally gave up. Yeah. But this thing would hunt for 100 foot. It was like getting it. Yeah.
It went 550 like with it breaking.
Yeah. It was, it was, yeah. No, and I mean, you're talking about that was people will be like, well, 550s, but 6, 7, 8 years ago, that was a player. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it was I think it was a no prep deal. I forget what it was.
I can't remember back then if that was like, I don't know if that was no prep or not. Like I said, I argue with people all the time. I'm like, man, it's just a racetrack. It's a surface. You know what I mean? It's really not.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't glued. Let's say that. Yeah.
It was like, But anyway, it was fun. And then he had another small block. So we took the blower motor out, put, what was that small block?
It was an all iron. It was a pump gas motor that I had for a C10. It was a 434 iron head.
Yeah.
Completely iron motor. And we put that thing in there and I put a shit ton of nitrous on it. Ooh, can I say that?
Yeah, you can say it.
Okay. I put a shit ton of nitrous on it. Like that little thing probably wouldn't make, 500, 550 at the crank.
It was terrible, yeah.
And we sprayed that on it.
It went like, what we go, like 520s? Or?
Something like that, yeah. I mean, it was pretty respectful for an old motor that didn't make 500 and you was spraying 500. Yeah. And hey, I'll say this out there, that motor is still together, has never burned up, and is still running.
Oh, that's amazing.
Sure, it really is, yeah.
Yeah, we were hard on that thing.
Oh, yeah. We killed that thing, yeah. Like I say, we sprayed as much as it made at the crank, I'm sure.
Yeah. It was fun, man. So we've raced together for a long time, and then Charlie was like, you guys have kind of heard the story of how Charlie came to be. But so, all right, to pick on you personally, how did you even get into drag racing?
Oh, man. It'll come full circle back to like where we're going, honestly, but to just touch base on it quickly. So I was in an accident when I was young, when I was 8, and I got run over by a car. And I was scared of any noise, you know what I mean? Tractors, motorcycles, cars, any noises like that, I would flip my shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just,
understandable.
Yeah. And anybody that knows my dad being my dad, is hard as a stone, you know what I mean? So he puts up with this for a bit, a few years, and then finally he's like, screw it, I'm going to give him the allergy method, you know what I mean? Where they just inject you with the allergy and eventually you become immune to it, right?
Yeah.
So that's what he does. He buys this car, builds a drag car, and here I am. I have no money and I'm happy as shit though. I've been drag racing ever since. Yeah. No, not that exactly. But yeah, that's kind of how that came about. and we'll probably touch base
And
on
that
that.
was a '69 Camaro.
That was the '69 Camaro that's here. Yes, that
it
was the
in
one.
somebody's field or something.
Yep. It was. It had been hit in the front. One of the frame harness was bent. It'd been hit and burnt on the front. Didn't have a doghouse and stuff. It's a really, really rough old car. And he did that. And that was like probably in the mid. I think I was ran over. That was in like 83, 82 or so. So this would have been like 85 or so, 86 maybe, mid 80s.
Yeah.
And that's still the car.
So he built like a bracket car out of it?
He built a bracket car and bracket raced it. That's kind of all there was back then. And he was good. He was good at it, you know what I mean? But it got me past it. And then my first car, I bought a '69 Camaro similar to it and sold it or whatever. But then, ended up with that car. And I mean, I guess it was always built for me for the purpose that it was, but I was too young at the time.
Yeah.
So I ended up driving that car even back then, and I was like 14 or something though. Like he had to sign a waiver saying that he was responsible for me because I didn't have a driver's license. That was a thing. You could actually do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that wouldn't happen today's time, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a thing, and so I never really liked bracket racing. Jake will hate me for this one. I never liked it. You know what I mean? And for each their own. Drag racing's drag racing. Stay on a drag strip. I don't care what you do. Just stay on a drag strip. But bracket racing just wasn't for me. It just wasn't my thing. I wanted a heads up race, but I was a kid and broke, and
Yeah.
you can't really afford to heads up race. And you got to remember also, like that was the time when like fastest streetcar stuff come out. Like 90, 91. So. You had them dudes in Louisville, your John Carters and stuff that were starting to do some shit that you'd heard of and you'd seen pictures of them and went and watched. And, so I was like, man, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah,
that's what I'm going to do right there. And then I did, as quickly as I could, but.
Do you think, so were you heads up racing in your 20s then?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I was heads up racing out of high school. So like early 90s, 92, 93. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I couldn't, the bracket racing thing just wasn't a thing. But I couldn't do anything. There wasn't, and you got to remember too, like I said that about Louisville. Like at that time when you're that age, you know what I mean? Louisville is 130, 40 miles from me. So that may as well have been on the other side of the earth. I didn't have money to travel to go to a heads up race. And there wasn't a whole lot of heads up racing locally, at Clay City and these other, at that time, London wasn't even around.
Yeah, so it was only Clay City.
It was only Clay City, and then there was a little racetrack down on 64. At that time, it was Bluegrass, and I think it's closed now, but it was what is it, I-64 Motorplex or something?
Yeah, they just closed.
They just closed. Yeah, that was around, but like heads up wasn't a huge big thing. And then these traveling series started popping up. What was it, like NOP, I think it was. There was a real nice guy ran that one, and then I don't know, OSCA came about, and there was some stuff, and then there would be some dudes have some local stuff. Mark Kane did some local stuff there at Clay City and did some heads up stuff, and it's funny, man. I'll touch base on this because it just happened this weekend. So we're heads up racing, starting to do that some, and you'd have only like 2, maybe 3 races a year though locally.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot. Right.
And it was just a few of us it was the same people for the most part. And at one of these races, Martin, that was like around when Martin started coming into the scene a little bit. I was in it before Martin was and Eric was. I remember when they came in, it's like, who are these dudes spraying nitrous?
Yeah.
And, but anyway, we had one of these deals and it paid fair money back then. It was like, I don't remember, dude. Let's say $5,000.
And that would have been a ton.
That was a bunch in like whatever that would have been. This probably would have been later 90s probably. That was a bunch of money back then. And man, this dude comes in, ain't nobody heard of, from Western Kentucky, in this little green notchback named Sam Vincent. And he completely just, you're like, where did this guy come from?
Yeah.
And then full circle, we
Yeah, we just raced him.
Yeah, we just raced his son this past weekend or whatever, and things went a different direction now.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was that. Yeah. Sure enough, I remember when he came. Because he had been doing it, but I didn't know of him until he showed up there, and then he was like, "Holy crap, this guy's a half a second faster than everybody else."
Yeah.
And he was.
No, and it's, I mean, even like when we rolled in down Bowling Green, like, no offense to anyone else who was there, but when I saw that green Mustang, I'm like, most of those people did not know who he was.
Oh, they're just missing out then.
Yeah, like it's a small nitrous car, but that guy's got more laps.
Oh my! And on a slick, yes.
Yeah, he's a bad dude.
Yeah, I seen when y'all went to North Carolina, and I seen he was there. I was like, holy crap! It was awesome to see it back out, but I was like, those guys are going to have problems with him.
Yeah,
they probably already forgotten about Sam, but. Yeah, they shouldn't. They better not sleep on him. And it's right. But anyway, that's when back then that's when I first met him, and like I said, he was just smacking us around. I mean, it was bad.
Money,
yeah. You better get your shit together. Yeah. But anyway,
and it's cool. It's the same car. Too.
It is. It is so cool. And it's the same kind of. I mean, I'm sure it's a different engine or whatever, but he's stuck true to that. Yeah. Small block Ford Nitrous deal, it's awesome, really.
Yeah, his son Austin was talking about like wanting to do a turbo combo, and like Sam was like, he's like, you get your purse when you get a turbo, or and
I kind of I don't hate that guy. We got some similarities. Yeah.
And then even his wife was like, she's so country and sweet. She's like, it'd just kill me if it had a turbo on it.
Certain cars, I'm with them. That car does not.
No, yeah,
a different car, maybe Austin, but not that car.
Yeah, it's so nice. But
I didn't mean to turn that to that. No, that's not where we were going. But
it doesn't matter. Yeah, we go wherever we want.
Yeah, but yeah, that was back then. That was kind of the thing. Like I said, he come in there and smacked us all around, and he was like, "Man, there's some stuff."
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I did venture myself. Once it was probably a year or so after that, maybe the following year or whatever. Ventured myself to Louisville, and because they had a monthly race there,
at the Valley,
OVOS deal, and got smacked around for a long time. You know what I mean? Yeah, those guys, they had theirs. They knew their surface. They knew, and that was an excellent surface. That was a better surface than I'd ever been on in my life.
Yeah,
and that was a learning curve in its own. But yeah,
and smooth and
it's smooth and it's prepped and it's like holy moly, I do not have enough steam to turn these tires over on this. But yeah, so yeah, I did that and met you guys, and then I raced a bunch of cars through the years, though. I did. I'd build like a new car or new to me car every winter almost because. There in turn, I'd like the grudge race too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And once you're in that kind of grudge race scene and you outrun a few people and they know how fast those few people are, then that car's kind of stale again. You really won't get any more grudge races.
Yeah.
So every winter, I'd try to put something different together. I said new car. It would be new to me, but let's just say a different car.
Yeah. And you really liked the grudge race stuff for a long time.
I did. Yeah, I like that where you didn't have to... I don't know. There's just no nonsense. I did, like I said, no disrespect to any of those traveling series or whatever, but rules came into play then, and then we'll come full circle back to that. I guess now we want rules, but back then rules came into play, and then you start coming to yourself and you figure out things, and you start going pretty fast, and you start winning a little bit, and then they want to pick at you about this or that, and you're under the criteria that they tell you to go under, you know what I mean? And then so you're one of the, I don't want to say fast guys, but faster guys, right? And then they want to pick at you, and the slow guys do want to slow you down. And I'm like, man, this just isn't for me. So that's when I kind of got into, social media is there now. At that time, it was Yellow Bullet.
Yeah. Which I honestly, a guy called yesterday and had a question about some stuff, and I was like, man, you should go on Yellow Bullet and look
through the archives and find it.
I mean, there's so much information.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was the only way. But Yellow Bullet was out there, so you could reach out there and get a hold of somebody or put some post up and catch a grudge race somewhere. where it's just you and one other dude meet for that one amount that you agree on, and you make a shakedown pass or you don't. You do it straight off the trailer, whatever the agreement.
Whatever the steps were.
Yeah, whatever the agreement was, and I like that. It was simple. It was easy. There was they didn't care about. They may not even look at your car. They maybe would.
Yeah.
They maybe wouldn't look at it till after you raced. You know what I mean? It didn't matter though. The rules you and that guy created were in place, and that's all you had. There was nobody to fuss or pick at you. And
yeah. So really, like as drag racing, what we would call evolves now, does it all feel really familiar with, like, do you have deja vu a bit of some of the previous seasons of your life?
Yeah, it's odd now because it kind of feels, I don't know. It feels odd to me because what we started as no prep was not, to me, no prep. It was just a unglued surface. You know what I mean? It was a bracket racetrack that people got down on, right? On a slick anyway.
Yeah. And you never really liked the radial stuff either.
It was never that I never really liked it, man. The only time I ever tried radials, me and I can say John Pryor.
Yeah.
John Pryor ran together, different surfaces and different races and stuff, and we're homies. And
yeah, you guys traveled together a lot.
Yeah. We were close, and we love each other, right? And some of the surfaces, though, John would know were going to be good, and he'd know that I was going to struggle, and vice versa. But for one time, we came up here to Xenia, to Kill Care, and he talked me into putting radials on. I called Hoosier, and at the time I kind of had an in with the Hoosier, and I was like, hey, I want to try a radial on this thing. So they sent me a pair, and I put them on, and we snugged the front end up and did all this stuff, and I went up here to Kill Care, and we started, and I up there, it was at that time they give you like 3 passes, right? Two or three passes. Like, it wasn't straight off the trailer. It was you
it was
got
XOS stuff.
It was XOS. Yeah, it was Charlie's stuff.
Yeah,
they gave you a few passes, and I knocked the tire off twice. Just boop boop boop, knocked it off. So obviously I had bias plies in the trailer. I put them bias plies on. My third pass, I go straight down. And I'm like, yeah, they're just not for me. So with that being said, yeah, no, it's not a thing where I'm not a fan of a radial. It's just I never really had, I never learned them. So I just never ran them until Charlie last year. And, Brad kind of opened my eyes to it. And I really liked how smooth everything was, and how it wasn't just the smoothness of the car. It was like the way it made power and everything, though, was nice.
It's crazy how much faster they go.
Yeah, the graph and everything, just, the way the Nitrous came in, the everything, it just is, it opened my eyes to some stuff. So I'd like the radial tire race Chuck, really, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. And then to go to the no prep thing, like where I was going with that, why I said I'd like to clash race again, is because I don't know if we want to touch base on that. I don't love where, no prep, where they pick at us. It's kind of the same. It's like we're going back to clash racing, but we're not clash racing. In my opinion, there was no rules. You put it on a 10.5.28, and it's got steel roof and quarters, and that's pretty simple.
Yeah.
But it's not that. And I know from the past, promoters, a race series guy, that's you all have to.
Well, I think too, like you were kind of in a unique position. Well, especially for us, is like I kind of, me and you talk a lot. We probably talk 2-3 times a week, but like I don't think you really realized like what the current climate was like, as much, because you just want to race.
Correct.
You want to get there. You're not a person that complains. Like you actually really like the Grudge race, and you've backed that way off just because of the way that racing is now. Because, all right, well, we'll kind of, so you basically, Heath took a break. He had some health stuff that happened, and you took a break for what, probably 3 years?
Probably.
And then, like, quick synopsis was, Heath had another buddy that did chassis work as well. So, like, we would work on some of your stuff, and then he did some too.
That's not, but that wasn't like chassis. Look, I don't want people to think that I cut out on 10
No,
Soldier
he
race cars
did.
at that time, because that wasn't it. It was a concept company, and he was a Nitrous guy like I was.
Yeah.
And they were wanting to build these pieces, and they actually did it.
Yeah, it was
And-
sweet.
Yeah, and it was
And we
sweet.
talked a lot about it.
Yes, yes. So you all were in on it. It wasn't like yeah. And they wanted to utilize these pieces on this car because I was a Nitrous guy and I was not a dummy. They knew I could use the parts.
Yeah.
And I had other resources that was going to help me use the parts. And then that completely distinguished like super fast. Like, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then basically it left Chuck with no back half. And then that's, kind of when Charlie came, when we got Charlie it was Heath made a phone call and he's like, I don't know what to do about this thing. Like, and I mean, you pretty much, he's like, you can just have it. And I'm like, okay. So there was really nothing there. The engine and stuff was in it, but I mean, it was just a set of frame rails in the front. There was I had to like make this jig to even roll it onto a rollback. There was nothing there. There was nothing left. They'd cut the car apart and there was nothing done to it though. Yeah. Yeah. So then we and really at that time, I didn't know, and you really didn't know if you were going to come back racing. You were just kind of.
I took a step back and I'd bolted some disc in my back is what I did. That was my health reasons. And I was just trying to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's an auto body.
I run a body shop. And I was just trying to work. That's why I took that step back. And then they took that car for that little bit, and it was good time because I didn't have I didn't feel like I could do it comfortably, with my back being that way and stuff. And so I was healed and stuff by the time I approached you about it, but I thought my car was pretty near finished.
Yeah.
That was pretty far from the truth, wasn't it? Yeah. But yeah, that's a whole thing we won't get into, but that concept company went away way faster than it came on. You know what I mean? Yeah. Great intentions, smart people, but man, it didn't work. It ended abruptly.
Yeah. So then we got Charlie, and then at the time when we got Charlie here, Brad and I had just sold our Radial car and we were going to build another car. But then no prep was really hot. So we were like, well, we should have a no prep car. We're like, wow, we'll just race Charlie. And, at the time the ET range, we're like, that ain't no problem with what's in it. And,
right.
And how we'll leave the car mostly alone. We'll just fix it.
Right.
Well, that, has obviously snowballed a bit,
Right.
But, yeah. It's really snowballed. But yeah, it's, I don't know. It's really fun to see where it's going and where we've been. And it's a really good ride.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, it's been awesome. I wouldn't have it any other way now. Yeah. I wouldn't want it to be any other way. I'm glad that concept company did what it did, and I'm glad we did the way we did it, and I wouldn't change a thing.
No, I wouldn't either.
Zero.
So, and like now with like, all right, well, we can get into this bit. You're not, this year you've just been really busy. So it's not that you're still very much involved behind the scenes, but
yeah,
you don't have time to come out with us right now.
Yeah. Anybody that was probably seen some of the videos last year, I broke my foot at a race.
Yeah,
for whatever reason, I don't know why, but
he just stepped out of his van.
It broke, and and that is a hindrance. Believe me, when
you're an auto body guy.
If they tell you you're zero weight bearing for 8 weeks, that is a problem.
Yeah,
and like you said, I own a body shop. I'm self-employed. My wife is self-employed. We don't have any other resource. Thank God, I have done okay in my life, and we made it through it. But I was off work for like 13 weeks.
Yeah.
And thank God, goodness for the account and the people that I have that I do work for. They waited on me with that workload, and and I'm trying to catch that back up. And then Jason and Brad, thanks, were kind of inspirational when they opened this shop. You probably didn't know this. Were inspirational to me when you opened this shop. And when I was laying there with that broke foot, I was like, I got to get myself in a position where if this happens to me again, health-wise, I'm not completely useless. You know what I mean? Because I couldn't go to the shop or anything. I didn't step foot in it for 13 weeks, you know. So I made the arrangements, and after that foot healed up and they give me the go ahead, I worked in a boot forever.
Yeah.
And but anyway, I made the arrangements and I built myself a new shop. That's where the inspiration comes from. And I don't have a shop like theirs, but I built a new shop that I can utilize and I can have closer to me, and I think I could work even if something was to happen to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could make a living.
Yeah.
I could pay my bills.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Now he's got the new shop's beautiful. It's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's like it's like a hospital. I love it. Yeah. Recently in it. But with that being said, that's why I've had to take a step back. I am super busy because I'm backlogged, but then I'm trying to pay for a new shop, and then I'm also trying to make up for lost time from being down for 13 weeks. So it's just tough for me to get to the races and to do the stuff that I was doing.
Yeah. No, and we raced pretty hard last year, and we've already been racing pretty hard this year. So it's,
right.
But yeah, and if like Heath is the reason that Charlie has a nitrous motor.
They are nitrous people because of me.
Yeah. That's 100%. And like, now I really wouldn't have Chuck any other way. Like sometimes I do get frustrated because it's just, nitrous. I will say that I think that I think everybody should start as a nitrous racer because it will teach you to be a good racer. It teaches you to really pay attention to everything. Even down at Bowling Green, like you guys have already, by the time you see this, you've already seen, us do real well at Bowling Green. But even, we're pulling at least 2 plugs every pass. Like it's just a lot more work, man. Like it's a lot more work, and you can't we've raced turbo cars. Heath hasn't, so he doesn't know this side of it. Once he knows the other side of it, he's probably. But on a turbo car, you can make some swings, and it's not as big of a deal. Like if we miss the tune up with what we're doing,
it's game over. Probably that day, if not longer.
Yeah, it's the consequence of missing it is so much more.
Right. There's not a broad tuning window for sure.
No. And like turbo stuff, when you're really getting after it, it definitely skinnies up, but it's not.
Gotcha.
It's not like
this, like that.
Gotcha. But it's. When you see that old 4-door going down through there and it's got 3-foot flames hanging out, there's not a lot better than that, is there? I mean, cool. All that hard work just kind of goes away. You're like, it was totally worth it. Yeah. But it does suck. Like last year, like Heath filled all the bottles. Now, this year, Brad and I are filling bottles. And man, it's a lot of work to get ready. Like, you're like, I'm filling all these bottles.
I don't know any better, so I'm agreeing. Like I really know. I don't know any better, but I know. I mean, when you say it out loud, it is a lot. To have whatever cases of spark plugs and all this nitrous and spare lines and I don't know. It is a lot, I guess. When you think about it, when I say it out loud, I reckon. But it's I don't know anything else. You know, but I want to.
We will.
I want to. Yeah.
It's. I don't know. Like when we went to Shady Side and we did. Heath couldn't go, and like we had actually heard it a couple weeks before, and we had an issue that it melted the one side of the motor, and it really wasn't. Wasn't tune-up related. It wasn't. We had an issue.
It was just a fluke.
Yeah,
basically.
And man, it melted all 4 on that side. So like in 2 weeks, we Brad put pistons in it. We took the cylinder head to Tony. Tony had to put 3 valves in it, and we were running ragging. We told them that we'd be at that race, and like man, we really weren't ready to go. And like we left at like 7. And we had oil pressure at 6, so and then you get down there and you're like, we had to fill all the nitrous bottles before we left. Like we don't travel with a mother bottle, which I don't know why you'd want to do that.
It's really, I've done it before. It's really tough to get them to transfer anyway. You know what I mean? You really got to freeze your small ones and heat up your big one. And on the road, you got to do it like with little coolers or ice chests.
That'll
Whatever
be
you
a
want to call
pain.
it. Oh my God, I've done it, but man, it's awful.
Yeah.
It's not a great idea. And those cylinders are heavy as can be.
They're crazy heavy when they're full of nitrous. My gosh.
Yes, they are heavy, and so no, I wouldn't want to do that either. Thank goodness for Nitrous Express. So.
Yeah, shout out to our boys at Nitrous Express.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, Abney, good Lord.
Yeah,
we got enough bottles where we don't have to do that, but yeah.
Yeah, and like you get like, dude, we got down there and you're like, we were still kind of chasing a tune up, and the car was shaking, and like I had a headache by the end of the day because the track was so sticky, and like I think we made 6 passes in 6 hours, and I'm like, dude, this is like. Then you look over the turbo guys; they got their feet up and they're like chilling in the air conditioning.
Okay, yeah, sipping on drinks and things. Yeah,
I got like a kiddie pool out,
Yikes, nothing about that. Yeah,
non-alcoholic, pina coladas,
Right.
just chilling. And Brad and I are like sweating, and we got,
Yeah. And I gotta say, man, I know all this is happening too, and I feel guilty. I've told Brad, I feel guilty for not doing it, but man, it's horrible when I'm not. I mean, it's not. We're always on the phone, or I'm always chatting with somebody that's at the racetrack. Whoever's with them, Brad, Jason,
Dave,
whoever, somebody, Marv, whoever,
it doesn't matter,
somebody's there. But man, it does. I have so much guilt. It's awful, man. But I'm like, you're. If I was there, I'd be guilty because I'm not working or doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So it's like.
Well, it is too. I mean, you do get like, you get in such a rhythm.
Well, and I like it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't know any different. So like pulling them spark plugs and doing all that hot burning, my arms are burned up, and, from getting the plugs when the headers are not cooled off yet and blah, blah, blah. I don't know any different than that. And I miss that. You know what I mean? So some of it's guilt and some of it's just you're missing it. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. I gotta. We're figuring it out.
Yeah, we're working through it. Well, what's your favorite part of racing?
I don't know. I like it, man. This will sound dumb to maybe not to a drag racer, but man, I like it when you go out there and you think you kind of know a number and you get it or even exceed it just a little bit. I like it when you 60 foot real good, and you have an ET number that you surpassed that you thought it was going to be. Yeah. And I know most people would be like, he didn't even say winning. It's not really. I mean, I like to win. Yeah. Honest, but that's my honest answer. Yeah. Yeah. I want to go 1060 foots in Chuck. I really want to do it on slicks.
Yeah.
I think it will.
Yeah. We're close.
Yeah. But yeah, I really like a real good 60
I want to do it
on.
I want to do it on no prep, and like we got a 330 goal that I think that we can get to, which is if we can do that,
very respectful too.
Yeah, I feel real. Yeah, and I think that's like it's kind of the same for me too. Like I love, there's some weekends. I mean, the three of us could just go test, and that would be fine with me.
Absolutely.
Like I love like that, like that personal like. That personal goal is what makes it fun. Yeah, yeah. And winning is great, and we have a good time when we win, and that it is. But that's not the most important to me. It's not the funnest. We have a great time when we lose. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So most people from the financial standpoints like they're idiots. But I mean that's just honest truth. Yeah. Well, and even like you're really great at like. And one of the things that you've always taught me is like, it's just money, man. Like we can't like, and that sounds really like whatever. That sounds cheesy, but I mean, that is the way it is. Monday's going to come and we got to make more money. That's all. It's going to come and go. Yeah. It's the way you got to look at it. Cause this is not a financially smart move. It's not to do. It's just not. So you can't, if you're worried about money, this isn't the game for you, but yeah, it's just the honest truth, isn't it? I mean, you can't look at it any other way. No, and it's a lot less stressful when you look at it that way, like it, it is what it is, and like that, I don't know, that personal goal side of stuff it's just, that's what makes it fulfilling, And that's what, like, I think it's a lot of people's outlook isn't that. And I'm not saying that our outlook, because you agree with me, is the right approach, but like, that's what that's what I mean by like
Like in the world of no prep right now, you got people fussing about stuff because they're not winning or because they're not. But man, listen, we're ones that we win. I'm not being a butt about it. We do win, right?
We don't win all the time.
But it's not the important thing to us. We want to set a ET goal or a 60-foot goal or a 330 goal. So don't fuss. Go have a good time. Go do a personal best for you. Because if you're doing it to always to win, it's not going to happen. Probably, you know what I mean? I mean,
yeah. Well, and it's no, I get what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, people want to pick at you and they're slow cut classes down and do this and that, and I'm like, because why? Because you want to win? Well, I guess so. But that's not. We like I said, I'll guarantee you ask other teams that do this and are pretty successful at it, and they're probably going to tell you the same thing.
Yeah.
They really could care less about the winning. They just want to go do it. They enjoy doing it and doing it to exceed what they did last week.
Yeah, well, because it's like it's more, you know, we've kind of always viewed it as like if we put our best forward and like this is our lane, we're going to try to go down this lane as fast as we can. This is our car, and we're going to try to make this car as fast as we can. And like I tell people all the time, like you know, in a lot of areas of racing, you would be surprised at how many of the top level people really don't have top level parts.
For sure.
But they're just out there making laps and they're making their car better and they're just keep chasing personal best.
Yeah, totally utilize what's there.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of times, I mean, kudos to you all. I mean, we probably have, you know, we got really nice stuff now.
Yeah.
You know, but it's not always been that way.
Yeah.
By no means. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you was, you know, utilizing everything that we had to make it sort of look successful, you know, in lack of a better word. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know. It's just, yeah. That I got, you know, I'm old and I go back to that, but it's that old thing, man. They just, I don't know. It's an entitlement that's, it shouldn't be.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think having other classes is a bad thing.
No.
It's just like everybody's kind of got to get more on the same page, and there just needs to be way less races. Like you can't have all these races and then also divide all these cars in classes because you don't have enough cars to go around. You know, really, like if me and Rick were talking about the other day, it's like if you put a stamp of like this is where the race is, well, really within 600-mile radius, like there really needs to be no other races. Like that will never ever happen. But like, because really to have a successful event, you need to pull cars from that many places. You
Agreed.
know, like that's what makes like now with Radial stuff. You know, Donald Long's deal is really the only deal in town. So like when he has a Radial race, you know, he has fair car counts and everything.
But correct me, those guys are waiting on those two races a year though. One in spring and one in fall. They're waiting on them though, right? They're testing up until that point, and then they're ready to get it when it comes.
Yeah, and they have like I think Donald's deal is like 6 races. So he's got, you know, there's a few up.
Right. Lower Georgia, northern Florida. Right. That's right.
Then,
I forgot.
And then they kind of take a break in the summer. They have one this month, and then they'll take a break basically until like October, which is I think that's a great way to do it.
I do too. I think that's actually pretty smart in my opinion. Yeah.
But what's happened is like, you know, you have, you know, really like in my opinion, you know, the Radial stuff has already, everyone's like, we need classes. It's like, well, Radial stuff's already defined the classes.
Yeah.
You got, you know, and I get people's frustration when they're like, you know, I'm racing Pro 275 cars. Well, you are, and you're doing it with a 235 or an Ultra Street car.
Agreed.
Well, like they're probably, you know, there should be a division there, but we just, you know, no prep. I don't know if it'd ever get there. I think about that a lot because there's just nobody that's really.
Well, there's so much saturation
there's
of
too
races.
much,
yeah, so much saturation of races, and all these promoters would have to have the same rule set, or it's not going to work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you know, that's the thing.
Yeah, it's been cool too to see like John Sears, which is, if you don't know, John is the creator and founder of X275.
Mm-hmm.
He does Ultra Street as well, and he has his hands in a lot of stuff. And he's been coming to no prep races. He went to Poland and Tom's race, and he's been doing some other stuff with the no prep. So it'd be cool to see him. I don't know. I'm not passing. Hey,
Right.
Hey, John, just fix this. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think too, you're seeing a lot of young racers come in, which is, I think that they'll change their outlook on stuff as they mature as racers. That's part of it too. But
yeah, you're right. Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah,
I like it that there's so many people that are interested in and that have cars.
Yeah.
It's just I don't care for the side of it where they want to, I don't know, dilute the race sometimes.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, man, like if you're always looking inward, you don't have time to look outward.
Yeah.
Like if we're looking inward of like, how can we make our car faster? How can we do this? How can we do that? Like, I mean, man, we talk multiple times a week on like what to do or like how to go about something, and we have a successful car that runs good, but we're still trying,
every I mean, when you lay in bed at night, you think of things that may or may not work, and we approach one another about it, and maybe we utilize it, maybe we don't, but yeah, it's a constant thing that you're always thinking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and too, I mean, even like we're not dumb. Like we get comments on YouTube all the time. Like, why don't you have like a turbo or a blower car? And like, it is like,
hello, I'm right here.
Yeah. It's Heath's fault. But I mean, we're not dumb. Like we know we're doing it the wrong way. In some we're not doing it the easy way. But and we'll change that at some point. It won't be changed with Charlie, but like we'll do something different, and we are working on something different. We're not ready to talk about that, but like, yeah, we are working on other things because it's just like, you get to a point when you are running a class that is unlimited. Like if we're always going to run, if we're running small tire, it's steel roof and steel quarters, then that's your only limit. Well, like, man, we own a chassis shop, like. We should probably build something that is 100% ideal. And really, like, Charlie is a great example of like, we just, at the time, we knew how fast we needed to go. We knew we could achieve it with that. And then it's kind of the snowballs rolled.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's one of the biggest reasons we didn't take the firewall and the front frame rails out of it is like, man, we didn't really want Charlie to be a strut front end car.
Right.
We really didn't want to lose the factory firewall in case we want to go race something else with it.
Right.
I'd rather just build another car that is that.
Yeah, there's some more weight there, and the motor's not ideal where the location and all that kind of stuff. But if we change directions, we can still change directions.
Yeah.
That was kind of the point to the whole deal of leaving it that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we behind the 8-ball a little bit? Yeah, we are. And would it be better that other way at this specific time? It maybe would be, but you never know what the future might hold. And we might hope it's the way that it is.
Yeah.
It's kind of our outlook.
Yeah. And I think when you're building a car, like you should really think about that. Like I think a lot of times you should look at like, what's my budget? What's this? Like what class
and what the
cylinder?
long game's going to be for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or could be for it. Yeah.
Well, and I think that is a lot of people's frustration because I talk to people every day is like, they've built this car a certain way and like, they can only, do X, Y, and Z for the engine. Well, then like they kind of have an unlimited car per se, but they don't have an unlimited engine, So it's like you have to match the parts and pieces up.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But what do you want to do in the future? What do you want to do more of?
As far as what in Charlie and with you guys in the racing world,
just a broad statement. Whatever, however you want to paint that picture.
I want to go ahead. Like we can't touch base on where we're going or kind of what we're doing, but like I'm super excited about what we've got planned. For the future. Like I'm super excited about that. I want to continue on with Charlie, but man, I really want a 959 in it. I feel like that's probably where that'll end up going eventually. We just got a 05-inch used up 05-inch motor. It's a nice piece, but I want the, by the time we pull the trigger on one. If they have 1,200 cubic inch motors, then I want a 1,200 cubic inch motor. You know what I mean? I want the biggest nitrous motor in that thing that I can get in it and afford.
Yeah.
And then let's see what we can do with that, you know?
Yeah.
Let me get my hands on that just a minute. Let me look at some spark plugs.
Yeah.
But,
you just want to spray a whole lot of
I want to spray a whole lot of nitrous. Yeah.
And really, there could be nobody in the other lane as long as.
Oh, no, absolutely not. I could care less. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it makes no difference. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I think that'll, and I feel like that's going to be, that's not a question of if, it's when. So
yeah.
That, and then like I said, just kind of get cranked up on that next deal.
Yeah.
And see where that goes. I'm super excited about that. Really stoked. And yeah, I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know, get my business back straight where I got time and I got a, you know, my head's level to
enjoy racing.
Enjoy it again. Yeah. That's what I told you all the other day, or I told Brad for sure. You know, it used to be, if he was really busy, when I was younger anyway, or, you know, in years past, let's say, if he was really busy at work or whatever, you know, you knew you was taking off. Well, I'd work all day to go home and work all night on race car stuff. But then you knew you had to take off Friday. You know, you was taking off work Friday, so you worked as hard as you could Monday through Thursday because you was taking off Friday to go wherever it was you was going. You know, and it used to be like an outlet, though. You know what I mean? When you get in the truck and you was traveling to where you were going, whether it was before you guys or even after you guys, Brad always usually drove.
Yeah.
You know, obviously.
It was your own truck and trailer. He still didn't trust you to drive it.
It was just Brad always drove. Like Brad's got trust issues. Yeah, driving trust issues. But it was always all right with me. And Jason didn't care.
I'm probably going to fall asleep.
But it would, you know, when you get in, even before that, if it was just me and the wife or whatever, you know, and obviously Shauna didn't drive the truck and trailer. But anyway, you know, once you got in that morning, you traveled to where you was going, or you began that travel, work went away. You know what I mean? Meaning it was an outlet. Racing was an outlet for me. And like I said, after this little, you know, hiatus I had, it's not like it was stressful to me.
Yeah.
And that's why I approached you guys and said, "Hey man, I'm gonna take a step back. Like we got to figure this out a different way." Because I don't know if it was age or just the spot that I'm in right now or whatever, but it was it was stressing me out. And it, you know, and I was like, man, you know, I hated it. It did. It makes, I feel guilt right now just saying it, but it is what it is. I can't lie about it either. If anybody knows me, knows I'm going to tell the truth. If it's wrong or right, I'm going to tell the truth. And it's just how I felt. So, but yeah, I want to get that back, whatever that's going to take to get that back where I'm, you know, where it's an outlet, where it's you know, and it will. I feel like I'm just in a position right now that's.
Well, I think too, like I mean, I can relate with you. Like last year when we were trying to get moved into here, and you know, like it does get stressful racing because you do feel like, man, we have a ton of people that help us. We have a lot of really great sponsors.
No, go ahead. But then I'll come back to that. Go ahead.
But you're like, you know, so many people help us, and like, you know, a couple of times last year, I feel like we really forced it to go racing, even though we weren't really in a spot where. But you want to do it for the people in the back class, you know, like you want to, like, you know, with people that help you comes a commitment.
Yep.
Right. And
obligations are there. You feel them. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah. And you want to go out and like, you know, you want to make a good showing. You want, you know, you need the pictures taken of the car. Like you want all that stuff for those people because, you know,
that's why they're helping you.
That's why they're helping you, you know? So, and yeah, like in the middle of the season last year, trying to get moved into this place and like doing everything, like, oh man, it was stressful, you know? And I think you guys really, you've seen it, you know, whether you realize it or not, you've seen it in our results, you know, because it's, you know, this stuff, it has to, if you're unfortunately or fortunately at this level, like, man, you got to think about it a lot, you know?
You really do. I mean, it takes up a lot of mind space.
Yeah.
It just honestly does. It's I won't say it's a business, but it's kind of.
I'd say it. I mean, it's,
you know, as far as like brain space and money and traveling and laying out what you're going to do, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It really is, you know. So I hate it. It is, you know, I hate saying it, but it is, yeah.
Yeah. What were you going to say though about you had something on
that you know, there's obligations that you make to people that help you, and thank goodness for the people that help us. You know what I mean? But with that being said, there's guilt there as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because some of those, you know, some of those relationships like I've had for years.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, but you are, you know, you know, you and Brad are taking that full force, and that's not that we're shorting them by any means, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel some guilt even for them, you know, for myself toward them, because I'm not there sometimes. But
yeah,
I've chatted with a couple of them, and they're like, man, it is what it is. Them boys are doing their thing. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, you know, they are. So
yeah,
it feels good. It feels really good.
What's it feel like to see Chuck win from your house? What's that like?
It's awesome, really, if I'm going to be honest. I feel the guilt, and I wish I was there with you all, but I mean, I know what the experience is. Obviously, we've done this quite a while, and we've won some. And, but it's not, I'm honest as the day is long. It's more emotional for me when I'm at home than when I'm with you guys, because you'll agree with this because you said it on the phone the other night, and I know because it's the way we always are. We can win a drag race, and if we didn't PB or say we didn't make the pass that we thought we should, even though we won that race, we're not crazy celebrating or nothing. We're not popping tops and, you know, doing things. We're happy and we're tickled and we enjoy each other and all that. But we all have the same, us three anyway, you, Brad, and I have that same, man, we missed it just a little bit. We were 200s off, or, you know, we didn't do exactly what we intended to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm at home, though, I have an emotional feeling where you know what I mean? It's like if your kids do something. Yeah. Well, they might have shorted themselves in their own mind, but them kids, but to you, you're proud of them, right? Yeah. So I'm so proud that you did it. It's like I get like cold chills now a little bit. Yeah, it's emotional to me. I don't say I enjoy it more. That's not what I mean, but I enjoy it. I enjoy it in a different way. Yeah. So it's really pretty nice. Yeah. I feel guilt, but you know what I mean? There's like so many emotions that go on there, but I don't know how else to describe it other than that. It's very it's real beneficial. Yeah, you just like to see you're just like, man, look at the boys go. It is. You know what I mean? I don't have to. Yeah. They're like, you know, you tell this one, you tell that one. No, I don't have to tell anybody. I feel it for myself. You know what I mean? I don't. Success just happened. I feel it come down the back of my spine. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can feel it.
Not to completely change. I feel the opposite. I guess as not a person in the numbers, the like personal best. Like I wasn't at last weekend's race when we won back to back. Okay. But Nick filmed it, and you know I sat and edited the last 2 days, and it wasn't exciting for me seeing us win on camera. You know, the feeling being on the starting line, seeing everybody stoked, like that makes me so happy. You know, that gets me stoked. Right. But I guess it's because even when you guys say the numbers or they go up on the they don't go on the board, it like not in the sense of like it means I don't understand it. So I need to be there to be excited. So it's just opposite. To feel the emotion in person. Yeah. Because I mean, I get stoked when you know we're on the starting line.
It is. I think I'll tell myself I get more excited when we win to watch everybody else celebrate. Like I love how stoked everyone is. Like that is so fun, you know. And like I always tell Rick, I'm like, man, like you know, put the camera down, like get the pass, but like don't worry about that. Like let's have a good time, you know. Like honestly, when we go to the finals, we should just find someone else to hold the camera. Even if
I'll put it on a tripod from now on.
Just somebody.
Like you just take care of this thing, man. Like because it is like and really like that, like you know it really. I say, and I think this a lot, it really doesn't matter how you do, it's how you do it. Sure. You know, and absolutely. Like, I love the way that we do it, you know, and I love like, you know, sometimes I get frustrated with, you know, like our performance or whatever, you know, that's part of it. Like, you know, we're competitive, but you know, when you look around and you see the people that you're surrounded with, we see you guys, the awesome people on YouTube, like, you know, and our social media in general, like that come up that are just stoked.
Oh man,
like,
they're awesome.
It's so great.
It's so great. It is. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
But it's emotional. You know?
It is. Yeah. It's yeah. People are awesome.
Yeah.
Man.
To piggyback on that, timing is a funny thing. So at the beginning of this conversation, when you were talking about the early days of you not being present at all on social media, and then kind of seeing what the numbers did for whatever that post was, I was just curious what the video, when I sat down and interviewed you at the old shop in front of Charlie Brown, because our following on YouTube solely wasn't as big even just a year ago when we filmed it. So I was like, I wonder what those numbers were. And it's sitting at 45,000 views, which is good for a year ago video for us. It's still even good now. But then not even 10 minutes ago, this is the first time someone's commented on that video in over a year since it's posted. But this guy, 275 Marco, he said that he had saw Charlie Brown at a No Prep Kings event in 2022. I'm guessing Bowling Green as well, because he said in Kentucky. And he said he always pulled for the car, but then he saw Charlie again this past weekend in Bowling Green. So he wanted to do some research on the car, and he found our video, you telling the story. He said he's a big fan now, real big fan after hearing the backstory of Charlie and seeing him win back-to-back over the weekend. And he says he hopes that we bring back the old school shirts, which I'm guessing is like the single tank or double tank Charlie.
Yeah. The double tank shirts, I'll go on records, they are coming back.
Tight. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, we just made that decision the other day because it was you know, when you're at the racetrack, like, you know, it's so interesting how this works. It's like, you know, when we're just shipping shirts out weekly, like we sell more Tin Soldier shirts than we do Charlie shirts. But like, if we're at the racetrack, people want the race, you know, they want the Charlie shirts, you know, and like the lettering on them is so sick and like everything. It's a cool shirt.
Sure.
So, you know, we're always going to continue to bring out new shirts, but I'll say this publicly. Ricky doesn't even know this yet because we just made a decision yesterday. The Charlie Brown shirt will be a staple. Like, I don't have a Tin Soldier shirt on, but like the
OG logo.
like the OG Tin Soldier shirt. It's going to be something that we sell all the time. It's going to be something that we take to the racetrack with us every time. I think that shirt has earned its
definitely.
It's earned its place.
Yeah.
Definitely at the racetrack too. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's a good
so
decision.
we're excited about that, you know, like, and you know, like from us to you guys, like, you know, like we do, and that is one of the reasons that I like when he's there, like I really am spoiled at the racetrack. That Tom said it to me the other day, is like, you know, Brad and Heath really handle the car. And, you know, like I get a chance to interact with people a little bit more, you know, and we've done that on purpose, you know, like, but yeah, like, it's very, very humbling, you know, like, man, a couple weeks ago, I had a little boy that he is so cute. He's from down around US 60 and he was at,
I know the kid you're talking about.
He is like the sweetest little boy, man. And he like loves small tire no prep. He watches everybody, like knows about everybody. A lot of times we try to bring Hot Wheels with us, so we had gave him some Hot Wheels, and his dad got him a shirt, and so then he watches our YouTube videos, and he noticed that Brixton liked monster trucks, and so they drove all the way to Shadyside. Not just for us. He wanted to see everyone else. But like he knew we were going to be there, and he brought Brixton a whole bag of monster trucks because he's like, I don't play with these anymore. And I knew that Brixton would want.
That's awesome, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, dude, I had to go in the motorhome. You know what I mean? Like, I need like, you know, like I need a moment, you know, like that's such a beautiful moment.
People are awesome, man. They really are. You know, people don't think it like they want to, you know, this or that, but a lot of the people we interact with or deal with on a daily, weekly, monthly, they're awesome people. Yeah, like totally awesome people.
Yeah,
Oh, it's great. They need to find these people. Yeah.
Well, and like honestly, like that's like, with the racing thing, like I'm just really thankful for the position that we're in because I like traveling and meeting people and like I like them to be able to like they're so stoked to see Charlie and you're like, like honestly, if you guys didn't love Charlie so much, like we love him too. Like I'm not saying like, but if the people didn't love him so much, we probably would have already had a different car. You really we like him, but
I don't know. I really like Charlie Brown. I don't know. But no, it definitely is a huge push.
Yeah. And the people and Heath, you're really keeping the nitrous engine in it. You know what I mean? Like I've threatened to rip it out a couple of times.
Right. Yeah. If we get beat by more than a car, he's like, oh, this thing's got to have a billet Hemi with something else. Yeah. I'm like, man, just chill out. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm really like, well, because I'm the one in the car, like
right. He sees them in front.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, boys, like I don't tree people all the time. I don't like. I'm pretty decent on the tree, but like when you tree them and you beat them to every cone except the last one, and you're in the car and your foot is like all the way through the firewall, and I want everything that extra that I can get, and they're still driving around you, and you're like. Duh. It makes you feel a certain kind of way. You're like,
I get it.
Which from the starting line, it typically like it really like even if you get beat by a couple cars, like it typically doesn't look that bad, know. So you're like, man, we might have almost got him, but I know,
right? There was distance between.
You're like,
that's not good.
I know what happened. So, and it's so we appreciate you guys. So all right. What you got any closing thoughts? What?
No, I mean, I don't know. Just I think we touched base on a few things. I don't know. I think some people think that no, I do. I want to say something. I think some people think that like I have a direct affiliation with the business.
Yeah.
The day-to-day business at 10 Soldiers. And I don't. Like we said, I run a body shop by a living. I am 60 miles from here. You know what I mean? And, because people will message me or text me if they have my number or whatever. And I'm like, hey, I really need to get in touch with Jason or Brad. I need to get this scheduled or whatever. I'm like, hey, can't really help you with that. I don't. I have my own things going on. But, so our racing program, we're totally affiliated and we're, all in. I think there's a stereotype there that's put on that we're like, we are directly connected, but I have nothing to do with the day-to-day doings of 10 Soldier Racecars. I have no authority here. I would like to help you. But I
can maybe steal some T-shirts.
Right. I can, it's about as good as it gets.
Yeah, and actually Heath does live, I mean, it takes you an hour to get here.
Yeah, it's about an hour, So
that's funny.
It's I don't know. I don't mind.
Yeah,
and man, most people will tell you like if they message me on Facebook or text me or something, it might take me a little bit, but I'm gonna get you. I'll hit you back with an answer, even if it's about 10 Soldiers. I will, and I've called or talked to you or Brad or whoever, and I'm like, hey man, this guy's really.
You need something.
Yeah. So don't everybody do that. I can't always give you an end. Don't do that. That's not what I'm saying.
You're not saying there's a crack in the door.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. But I'll never leave somebody just hanging. I'll be like, hey, you really just gotta. But I think. A lot of people think that there's a direct, like I'm here on a daily basis, and I'm like, no,
I'm spraying paint.
I'm spraying paint. I don't know nothing about building chassis.
Which is really funny is like a lot of the videos now, like because Charlie doesn't look like Charlie and needs painted, and Heath is a painter for a living.
It is. Yeah.
But don't call him for paint work because he's got a very.
It's kind of the same. There's no crack in the door there. Yeah, we are backlogged way back. Yeah. It's true. It's a good thing to have. But yeah, it is.
Yeah, and Charlie will get painted. We got some more doors coming for him because obviously the one blew apart. So our boy Kenward's making us another set of fronts, and then we have back doors to put on it. So. We just don't want to get into paint work until like it's all.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, well, they can. We got a homie that's going to do the paint work that can weather it and make it look like it does.
Yeah, it's funny. He's not even going to paint it.
No, I'm not painting Charlie. Yeah, I don't. I don't really. Yeah,
he doesn't even have time to paint.
Yeah, I don't have time to paint that. But anyway, yeah, Brandon will weather that stuff and make it look like it's supposed. Like it always has.
Yeah, and that's important.
Now, hey, eventually, I don't know if I could ever do this, but I'm gonna put this on record just because it's out there. Eventually, I would like to blow Charlie apart and make him slick as a ribbon.
Really?
I would. I kind of would. Do you think?
I don't even know what that means. What do you mean blow them apart?
Like totally take it apart and paint it and make it slick. Like I'm talking about show car nice. Not anytime soon now.
Yeah.
Let's not get crazy. But eventually, I think it would be cool. Like, if we raced it for however many years like it is, and then we did a little freshen up or whatever, and it came to me, and I totally blowed it apart and made it just, nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that.
I kind of think it would.
Yeah.
Give him a facelift and be like, holy crap.
Yeah,
we can do a complete deal.
Yeah.
We can go from front to back.
I don't know. Like, I never really thought about it. Like, I guess I have. Because there's some people that have Charlie, and there's like two different people that have Charlie on the internet game stuff.
Right.
I don't know a lot about that, but they like programmed it in. I mean, it looks.
The one dude is. Well, they're all like that. There's a couple of guys, that are legit.
They're really good at it.
Yeah,
yeah, and like both like the internet versions of Charlie, like obviously he looks really slick because there's no way to like really make
dirty
that look. Yeah.
Yeah,
and I'm like, dang, it does look good like that.
Yeah,
and I really like it with the polished wheels. So I don't know. I don't know.
You know what I mean?
I could see it. I could see it in the future.
Yeah, you would want it to look the same and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but
make the colors identical.
But make it really pretty though. Real crisp, straight lines, and it's
chrome
the body,
bumpers.
Yes, yeah. I do. I would like to do that eventually.
Yeah,
future.
I really like racing it rough, and we've hinted around. So if you've made it this far, we are going to build another car. I'm not ready to talk all about it. That car will.
That'll be another podcast.
Yeah, it'd be really slick, But if I'm honest, I already know how nice that car is going to be, and I'm already anxious about like keeping it nice.
Yeah, that's what's tight about Charlie. I don't ever have to worry about where I stick the GoPro on.
No,
like if
right.
the little magnet does anything, it's like, it's okay.
That stuff has its advantages because I've had really nice cars in the past too, you know what I mean? And this will be the car he's speaking of. It'll be that way. Like we got to figure out, because this is just how it is. We'll figure out like where, I'll probably have to touch that thing up and paint pieces of it mid-season every year to keep it fresh and nice. You know what I mean? Well, that's a lot of work. But I mean, that's just kind of what we'll have to do.
Well, I request that when we do the build on that car, that we just have dedicated mounts for the GoPro, so then I don't have to like stick things randomly and then stress about scratching it up or doing anything bad.
Well, even that, we won't stress on it too much, but because Heath can fix it. But
I know a guy. Yeah. It's like them suction cups and stuff aren't going to hurt it, man. It's going to be stone hard. It's just like rock chips and dings and, stuff like that. And we'll want it to stay that nice. So like I said, I already expect, like I said, I've had nice cars in the past and usually have to break them down mid-year, and respray them again for the rest of the year. Yeah. Parts of them. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, because it's like with these kind of cars, like the front end's coming off the, stuff like that.
Like get bumped to just things happen. Yeah. It's a tool.
Yeah. You're just, it is what it is.
It's a tool.
And I do, man. I love it's like Brixton's loves playing in Charlie, and it's like, man, it doesn't matter. Do whatever you want, man. He runs Hot Wheels down it, and like
Rick said, there is advantages to it. You know what I mean? If somebody leans on it or does something, or a rock flies out of the burnout and pow, you're like, oh well, it's no big deal. It's all right. Yeah. There's perks to it for sure.
Yeah. There was the other day when we were loading it up in Bowling Green, I guess something ran into the front bumper. And it cracked it above where Brandon's got it painted. And I was like, all right.
Yeah, not a big deal. Yeah. It's not going to kill your soul. It's all right.
Doesn't matter.
I do know something else I want to say too that we never get a chance to do. And they never get anything for it. It's our wives.
Yeah.
we should touch base on them wives because
You're getting all the brownie points.
man, well, yeah, I guess, yeah.
No, and
It just we do.
yeah.
They're all so awesome. You know what I mean? They really are. They let us do what we want. You know what I mean? And not like they allow us, but you know what I mean? They're always in with us to do whatever the next step might be. And there's always a next step. There's usually 4 or 5 steps.
Yeah.
You know, whether it be time, money, both, whatever. It's like a chess game and we're always planning and they're always there to cheer us on or help us or do whatever.
Yeah, they do a lot.
And-
Like they do, a lot for this is we should do a podcast with the wives.
Yeah, that'd be actually a good
It really
idea.
would,
Yeah.
I think that would be tight.
Their perspective of things it's probably not I'm a little older than you guys. Their perspective of things probably isn't exactly what you think they are, but they are there. You know what I mean? They're going to push you and love it and cry with you, bleed with you, spend money with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really nuts that we have 3 that are like that.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, because it's a huge commitment to do this, and honestly, to be vulnerable, it's like, sometimes you look back and you're like, man, is some of this worth it? You're
Absolutely.
you're
taking time from family, you're taking money from family. Oh no, absolutely. There's some guilt there. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's a lot to think through, and you're like, I don't know, like if they're not in, like it's a problem. You got to be out.
Yeah,
you got to be out. If they're not in, you're out. And like, yeah, I mean, I love when they all can come. Like it's more fun that way. But it's I don't know. That is one thing that I don't love about what we do now. Because so MPK didn't have a great car count, so we got done early, which was really sweet. And like, I don't like racing in the heat, but we did. And like, for me, like in my situation with the kids, it's like, it really stinks when a race really doesn't start till 7 or 8 o'clock. Like,
Right.
like Brixton's ready to time out at 9.
Yeah.
So like, that's a lot to figure
so that
out.
was fortunate in that sense, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was awesome. He got to he hung
Experienced
out
the whole
all day.
deal. Yeah.
and which was awesome.
I didn't really think about that.
Yeah, these promoters ought to think about that just a little bit.
He got to see the whole. That's probably like one of the first times only that he got to see a win.
Yeah.
Not just be woken up at the end of the day to be in the photo.
Yeah, he.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't think about that.
I didn't either. And that's like a good point. I like racing earlier because I'm old and I want to go to bed. I don't want to stay up till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Fair.
But that's a good point. That's a really good point. You know what I mean?
Well, it's hard when you have young. You like
even the girls. I mean, they don't want to.
No.
1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, they're probably going to be napping.
Yeah, like when we wanted at Edgewater, like it wasn't super late, but it was like maybe 12:30, and like we had to wake the girls up to get them in the winner's circle picture, and they were grumpy and not happy.
It's like, what are we doing? Yeah,
and like I don't know.
I get that the heat of the day is not ideal.
I feel like we do.
But
We should have with the wives. I feel like my perspective will be much on the same as theirs.
Yeah.
Because once we go past like 1 o'clock, I'm stubborn. I'm like, I'm going to sleep. I don't care if we. I'm on the same thing. So let's have them on here and talk.
Even like if like War in the Woods when they raced all night. I don't know, man. I might have like. I mean, it's different when you're winning and you're like kind of pumped up, but like, dude, like I don't know. I kind of like to go to sleep.
It's tight.
That's
Sleeping's tight.
Like you said, when the adrenaline's going and you're winning, you don't think about it, but. You do it like a day or so later.
Yeah,
though.
the next day.
You feel it.
Yeah. But no, it like that. It was tight that Brixton, like he came down. He's like, "We won, Daddy!"
Right?
He was all
That's
excited.
awesome.
It was tight. Charlie Brown wins. So, he said he's going to drop Charlie. That's what he tells me all the time.
We're going to make it slick for Brixton, and that's what we'll do. We'll make it slick for him. Yeah.
No, that'll be all right.
Yeah.
I can live with that.
That chapter.
He'll
make
get the nice
version. It's got to be nice and
yeah,
slick.
he'll get the nice version of it.
The bougie Charlie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how you think of things. I was like, man, because his name is like, it's got some cool letters in it. Like he's got an X. I'm like, man, that'll look tight, like on a door.
It would. Yeah. Like Lizzie's, Lizzie's. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually Zaya's like,
ooh, that's a good one too.
Yeah, she's been really, we might have to get a junior dragster. She's really like been asking about it. And Mikey Trout said like, we're going to go over there and push her down the driveway. And then if she does good, we'll start it. But yeah, and then that's another thing for promoters to think about, like, because you do have, I think, probably your average age for racers right now, what we're doing is probably late 30s to.
I'd say that's the majority.
Yeah. So it's like most of those people have kids, so it's, I think for the health of our sport, we got to start thinking about how to include them a little bit more,
Yeah.
Like
make it more user friendly for them at least. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
And,
Yeah.
and just family friendly in general.
For sure. Yeah.
It just, it is that we're there,
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we are very thankful for our wives. And drop a comment if you'd like to.
Yeah. I mean, we might have a hard time getting them three to do it, but we could probably talk them into it.
Yeah, and we have beautiful wives.
Yeah, we did all overachieve in that deal. For sure. Yeah.
I don't know why, I don't know what, we must have drugged them, but yeah.
Could be our highest viewed video. We'll just put them the thumbnail. Highest viewed podcast for sure.
It's cool. Well, anything else?
No, I think that's good.
Yeah. Well,
it's been good to just sit and chat because this is
it's been a minute.
basically it.
Well, I know you guys chat all the time,
Yeah,
but
we
it's
chat.
been a minute since I've seen you and got to
Yeah.
hear some stories. So it was nice.
It's been good.
Yeah.
well, as always, we appreciate you guys watching. If you don't see Heath at the track, that's why. If you see him at the track, make sure you say hi. And know that like he's the reason that Charlie Brown has an extra syndrome.
I feel like most people at the track will come up and thank him for that. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, so
Right,
like,
right.
hey man, and maybe like slide him a 20 for some
there
night.
it is.
Yeah. Not just as expensive. Yeah.
So, but yeah, we appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you next time.